Good morning, good afternoon, and good day to you all. Welcome once again to the GBO2 Tidbits show. And with you, we have obviously myself, Talos Mobius, and my wonderful host, co host, Sartlad.
Lad.
How are you doing, Sartlad?
It's going great. I'm I've been knocking out some audio stuff on my upcoming long sorry for the stutter. On my upcoming long form project. So yeah, that's been fun.
Uh,
And yeah, there's been a couple of things that I've got in the works. Some of which I can disclose, some of which I can't now.
that is great to
Uh,
hear. A,
quite an interesting time.
a busy day is always a good day, I'd say, but it's up for interpretation, as always, with everything. Either way, as you probably have noticed already the title, today we're going to be talking about the G-Line Light Armor, a wonderful starter mobile suit that anyone can get by just completing the tutorial on GBO2, specifically the beginner missions and the intermediate missions for GBO2. As you can
Exactly.
As you can already
Uh,
see up on the screen, the G-Line Light Armor is a 400 cost trade that is capable of going on both ground and space. It's a 2-star, 12,000 health, 8 ballistic, 8 beam, 26 melee resistance, 28 range strength, 12 melee strength, 135 movement speed, 220 top speed, 65 thruster gauge. The plus one is because of the enhancements that you see over to the right, and 66 turning speed, 13 close range slots plus one with the complex expansion slot, 11 medium range slots, again the same, and 4 long range slots, again the same. The complex expansion slots are very useful. For its weapons, we have the heavy rifle at 1400 power, 50% hit rate, 325 range, 1 second cooldown, 18 seconds overheat, and 4 seconds focus. Pretty good if you ask me. Beam Saber Enhanced, 1900 power, 2.5 seconds cooldown. Head mounted Vulcan's later model, 67 power, 30 ammo, 150 range with no cooldown because they're fully automatic, and 6 second reload. The missile launcher unit on the backpack with 500 power, 8 ammo, 400 range, 0 cooldown, full auto, 12 seconds reload, and the G-Line shield with 3500 shield HP with the plus 100 from the enhanced shield structure.
it also makes you a little faster when the shield is completely destroyed, since you're kind of ditching the weight. And
Uh,
back on the topic of the rifle, uh, before you get into the skills, this is a gun that it shares with the G Line Full Custom, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
It requires charging to get a proper stun, but nonetheless, it is a fairly solid gun.
Very powerful for a long range engagements for sure. It can, with its focus, again, I think 175 range, if I'm correct, or just 100 range. Regardless, you get extra range on your shot, and that makes it obviously a longer range weapon, allowing you to land hits on supports that are staying on the back. Back on the matter of the weapons, even the Line's missile launcher unit does a really good job at building up stun. So overall, keep an eye out at how fast you can build up stun with this unit.
And on top of all that, it can also be fired while boosting,
Correct?
which is an aspect of the weapon that shares some similarities with the missile pause on the Zagok.
It's a very effective weapon, and no matter what you say for the G-Line light armor, it's too squishy, it's nimble, it's this and that. The missile launcher unit for sure is one of its strongest weapons in its kit, just because of raw damage and how quickly it can build up stun. Moving forward, unless you want to add anything, Sertler,
Not really. I suppose we've already covered what I wanted to go over in terms of weapons.
would you like to cover the skills?
Yeah, sure, I'll go for it. So, The G-Line Light Armor comes with a single dodge roll via its Emergency Evasion System Level 1 skill, a high performance balancer, always appreciated skill for mobile suits that use its melee on a regular basis. I've probably said it before on the previous tidbits, but just to catch up everybody else not playing the home game, it lets you cancel both the high speed movement and landings by using melee or tackles, which very useful up close, that's for sure. Now it also gets a free attack melee combo, courtesy of melee combo controller level 2. It has maneuver armor, which is a godsend when combined with the forced injector. So that means you are both harder to stop and harder to hit, which is a great asset for raids and generals alike. Of course, also for supports, but when looking for forced injectors on supports, obviously you're going all the way up to the 500, 550 range, and that's another story. Anywho, it also has the high spec MBAC for space, which is very good because you get a little bonus to turning speed, and of course you're no longer just clunkily drifting at the end of your high speed movement in space. You can kind of make use of the momentum with some more efficiency. Of course, there's the leg shock absorber, which is a skill that it shares with the Exaku. And overall, since you're gonna be using the dashing a lot, this is obviously a great asset since it eases sort of the strain you put on the legs after boosting, after jumping, etc. Then there's of course the shield tackle, since as as you can see, if Talos switches to the screen with the weapons, the shield is a little pointy, and therefore it can do bonus damage while it has the shield on, because it kind of pokes the enemy with the tip of the shield, which I find rather funny.
A little bit of a parenthesis here. The shield tackle also does a stat 1000 increased damage, and an added bonus is increased per level of the mobile suit.
Of course, there's also the assault booster, which increases the speed at which you can jump, and it also makes you harder to hit out of the air. There's of course the shield break stance mastery that Delos mentioned, which makes which basically mitigates any stun that would stem from getting your shield destroyed, which is, as I like to say, is a very useful skill.
The G-Line Light Armor also comes with a level 3 melee priority. It has no specific compatibility, but as mentioned, it can go both on ground and space. At a level 3, the G-Line Light Armor gains the thruster output and increase level 1, which allows it to gain a +5 to its movement speed, and its assault booster increases to level 2, allowing it to obviously charge its boosters a lot faster. And at a level 4, the assault booster increases to level 3, allowing it obviously to charge even faster than before. It's a very nice small addition, but every level matters. Up next, we're going to be covering a little bit of the gameplay of the G-Line Light Armor. Shall we? As mentioned already, the G-Line Light Armor comes with the plethora of 4 weapons. I wouldn't call it plethora, but it's plethora regardless for its cost. The beam rifle is not an instant stun, as you can notice. Even with 3 shots, it doesn't build up enough stun. But the missiles do pretty well. the first strike. But always remember, no anti-blast stabilizers.
As well.
Allow me to lower the volume on my mixer. There we go. That should probably run a lot better than before. The rifle charges for the additional damage, the insta-stun, and the range. Does a little bit of an increased damage, but that's not what we're only here for. We're all here for every other buff. As you notice, oh, if I wouldn't miss my shot, the beam rifle while charged did 2560 damage. That's without any modifications to the mobile suit. This is purely unmodded at level 1 gear as well. So expect the damage to increase as you build it for more range or melee. And when I shoot like that, uncharged, 1839, meaning that you gain about 700 to 800 damage on a charge shot. The G-Line light armor is extremely agile, and I'd say that it's what a raid should have been for the longest. A high mobility line breaker. You go in, well, and as the joke that has been running for a while, you G-line it straight for their support. That is a very much dad joke, and do forgive me for the horrible pun.
I'd say that in terms of its kit, the G-Line is I'd probably put a parallel to Char's Gelgoog in the game Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Versus for its or it also needs to charge up a shot to get a proper stun, so when you're charging that rifle, the opponent knows that you're charging the rifle to get the stun. When the rifle is out of the hand, the opponent knows that you're going for either the Vulcans or the missiles. So, in a sense, it's bare bones, just enough to be good for the rock paper scissors. Sorry, I kind of got lost in my analogy, but I would I'd say that in a certain sense, the way its kit works, you kinda know what you're there for, and so does your opponent. So if you're running mirror matches, it's basically rather easy to know what to expect, but at the same time, the simplicity makes it rather easy for beginners to pick up.
And the veteran player will find great use out of its simple kit, allowing for said veteran to perform a lot easier or even sometimes complicated combos if done right. But overall, the G-Line light armor is a very solid suit to either learn how to play raids, or for those that want to play it competitively, remain as who you are. A light armor, a light, agile, nimble, you put it as you want. It's a speedy mobile suit that its whole purpose is to break line. You cannot go wrong with a simple kit, and very often I've heard some people describe this as one of the better, if not the best, raids of its cost. And I can agree, because the raw damage of the missiles combined with the easy to set up stun, 3 melee combo, it's got everything that you'd want on a raid early on. Overall, for those interested, keep an eye out for the G-Line light armor, and if you're firing it, never slip on it. The more you let it zoom around and keep a foothold on the battlefield, the longer you're gonna make it harder for your team to advance. A single D-line, if played right, can possibly turn the tides depending on the enemy's team. Of course, it's always a matchup that you have to worry about.
Indeed.
A prime
For
example.
example,
Sorry, proceed.
I'll let you finish. Sorry.
A prime example is right here. Look how quickly just it melts a gun cannon mass production type. 400 cost. That's it. There's nothing
Yeah.
more to say.
Yep. Just like a lot of raids, the G-Line light armor is still weak to getting that usual build-up stun and heavy stun combinations that a lot of raids usually have to look out for. So if you can stay out of the direct line of fire, you can stay on the battlefield and maintain it. Sorry, I get stuck in this. Sorry. I got stuck mid-sentence.
You're fine. As mentioned though, due to the G-Line light armor having to worry about staggers, especially heavy staggers and build-up staggers, always remember that do not play too safely around exploring mobile suits. You do lack anti-blast stabilizers, meaning that you can get caught easily and be knocked on one knee by just an exploding mobile suit, or be knocked out instantly out of maneuver armor, making it dangerous to go in for melee on near-dead mobile suits. Instead, my suggestion would be lighting them up with the missiles, as those missiles can do a hefty amount of damage really quickly. Otherwise, if you are stuck in melee, my best decision is if you have any enemies nearby, I'd suggest using a dodge roll to get out of the sticky situation of the heavy stagger. But if there are no enemies at this point, do not waste your fuel. That's the best decision that you will be made to be up to you. Always keep an eye out on your radar and always remain mobile. If you see that there are no enemies, it's a moment to take a breather. Otherwise, run, dash, boost, keep moving, and make sure the enemy remembers very well that there is a G-Line light armor on the field. Because when you do that, it means that you're keeping the aggro probably a lot more on you and giving a chance for your fellow generals to push forward while the enemy team has to worry about keeping both the support safe and about not getting snuck up from a really agile raid. Because very often people sleep on how quickly a raid can turn the tide. Anything else that you'd like to add, Sertler?
You've basically covered all that I wanted to add. Even managed to kind of save that tangent for me. Thank you very much for that.
You're most welcome. And of course, as always, I'll meet you all on the battlefield, pilots. Have a good day. Have a wonderful night if you do have a night or day over there. It doesn't matter. Have a great overall, moment. Appreciate everything around you, because those moments go by as fast as a G-Line light armor goes by as fast. We'll talk to you, as you can imagine, later.